My name is Alexei and I am a soldier in the Russian army deployed in Ukraine. I arrived at the front 6 months ago, but it feels like years have passed. Everything here is cold and gray, and I'm not just talking about the Ukrainian winter. I'm talking about the reality around me, the one hidden in the shadows of official reports. There are things no one tells you before they send you to this war-torn land. From the start, we weren't treated like soldiers but like tools. Command told us we were here to liberate territories, but we all knew it wasn't that simple. In truth, we were here to instill fear, to ensure that Russian power remained firm. And it wasn't just the enemy that concerned us. What terrified most of us was what happened within our own ranks, and even worse, with the Russian mafia groups operating on the fringes of the war. The first thing I noticed was that some soldiers received different instructions from the superiors. I thought we all followed the same orders, but when I arrived, a veteran named Sergei gave me a list of rules that sent a chill down my spine. He said it was necessary to follow them if I wanted to survive at the front, and he wasn't just referring to enemy artillery. Don't ask why, just follow them. Everyone who has broken any of these rules, well, we never hear from them again, he said with a grim look. I couldn't believe what I was reading, but the desperation on his face made me pocket the rules, and from that moment, I couldn't stop thinking about them. Here are the rules just as I received them. Frontline rules. 1. If you're ordered to patrol alone after midnight, say you're sick. They'll never assign you that shift if you insist enough. Those who go out alone at night don't return. 2. If someone in your squad goes silent and avoids eye contact after the first week, don't press them to talk. That person is waiting for something, and if you try to intervene, they'll take you with them. 3. If you see a unit of Russian soldiers crossing your camp in silence and not responding when you speak to them, walk away immediately. Don't follow them, don't ask who they are. They're not supposed to be here, and if you follow them, you'll be lost with them. 4. Never accept drinks from superiors if they offer them outside the barracks. They're not gestures of camaraderie. Something is wrong with those toasts. Those who accept disappear, and their names are never mentioned again. 5. If you're sent to a small village to clear it and you find a house with windows boarded up, don't go inside. No matter what the commander says, just claim the house is empty. Those who go inside never come out the same. 6. If you find new ammunition or equipment that seems to have been left for you, don't use it. No matter how depleted your resources are, those things are not a gift. The next day, someone from your squad is always missing, and not because of combat. 7. On the coldest nights, if you hear someone calling your name from outside the camp, don't answer. No matter how familiar the voice sounds, those who follow it never return. 8. If you're assigned to the logistics team and sent on a mission without being told what is being transported, keep your head down and don't ask questions. Sometimes it's not weapons we're moving. These missions always have casualties, but not from the enemy. 9. When a mission is cancelled without warning, stay alert for the next 24 hours. Don't talk about it with anyone or ask why it was cancelled. It's usually a sign that something went wrong, something you shouldn't know. 10. If you ever receive orders from Smirnov and see his name on the paper, make sure the signature is in black ink, never red. If it's in red, pretend you never received the orders. Those who follow those orders end up disappearing, and not just in combat. 11. If someone tells you they saw another soldier being sold to the local mafia and seems terrified, don't report them. They're telling you the truth, and if you get involved, you'll be next on that list. At first, I thought it was some kind of macabre joke to scare the rookies. But soon the rules began to make sense. Things started happening that had no explanation. One night, I was assigned a night patrol. I remembered the first rule and fake being sick, complaining of stomach pains. The sergeant let me stay in the barracks. The next day, I learned that the soldier who took my place had not returned. The commander said he had probably been captured by Ukrainian forces, but no one found his body or any sign of a struggle. He just disappeared. Another incident occurred when my squad was sent to clear a village near the border. We came across a house with windows completely boarded up. I remembered the fourth rule. My instincts told me something was wrong. I told the commander the house was empty. He yelled at me, but after insisting, he ordered us to move on. Later, other soldiers who had ignored this rule on previous missions had returned, changed. They couldn't sleep, they talked to themselves, some even took their own lives. And then there was Smirnov. I hadn't trusted that man from the first day, but it was the 9th rule that saved my life. I received a direct order from him to carry out a reconnaissance mission. When I checked the document, I saw his signature was in red ink. I froze. I knew what that meant. I went to the commander and told him I never received the order. The next morning, I learned the mission had been a trap. 2 soldiers who carried it out vanished without a trace. They didn't die in combat. There was no exchange of gunfire. They simply disappeared. The Russian mafia, corruption within our ranks, the high command, everything seemed to follow a logic I couldn't comprehend. And those rules were the only thing keeping me alive. The superiors who worked with Smirnov seemed to know more than they let on, but they kept sending us like disposable pieces to a chessboard none of us fully understood. Over time, I realized these rules aren't vague warnings. They're the only things that keep you alive on this front where the inexplicable is a constant. We don't talk about it because speaking about the rules seems to attract what we're trying to escape. But everyone who's survived here for long knows what lurks behind the bombings, the empty orders, and the visible enemies. The front isn't just full of soldiers. There are other presences and other interests. They aren't always human, but sometimes, unfortunately, they are. If you're ever deployed here, be careful. Not all enemies are visible and not all battles are fought with bullets.